Today I'm going to be talking about Paint the Roses by North Star Games. Paint the Roses is a cooperative logical deduction game where players are working to stay ahead of the queen's axe as she storms through her garden screaming, "Off with their heads!" trying to satisfy her preferences on the colors of the roses in her garden. So in this review, I'll talk about how to play the game. It's actually very simple and only takes a few minutes to explain. Then I'll talk about the game's attributes, its theme, mechanics, components, strategy, and complexity ratings, as well as my final thoughts on the game. If you already know how to play the game and you want to jump to the review, you can go ahead and do that right now. Hi, my name is Ben and this is Board Game Dad. I'm also the developer of a web app called The Perfect Board Game. If you want to check out this video on that web app, you can find the link in the description, and while you're there you can watch the video as well as explore the games being talked about. Of course, if you want to discuss the games or if you have any questions for me, the best place to do that is right here on YouTube in the comments below. Now let's talk about how to play Paint the Roses. As I mentioned in the introduction, this is a cooperative game where players are the gardeners trying to satisfy the queen's wishes. The objective of the game is to avoid being beheaded by the queen by figuring out what the queen wants. The game is very easy to set up. You put the board in the center of the table, and each hexagonal space represents a bush with white roses, and during the course of the game these bushes will be painted different colors. Now, because there are only 4 colors and 4 shapes, there are only so many permutations of color, color, shape, shape, or color shape. And given the number of permutations, this splits up the whim cards into 3 piles: easy, medium, and hard, where easy is always color to color, medium is always shape to shape or color to color, and hard can be any combination, including color to shape. The whim card that players draw is kept secret from the other players, and during the game, players pass around a selection of tiles that they will take turns placing on the board. Once the tile is placed on the board, players in turn order will put their cubes on the newly placed tile to indicate how many times that tile satisfies their whim card. So for example, if my whim card is spade club and the new tile is placed here, I would place 2 cubes because I can see 2 times where that pattern is satisfied. Of course, I don't tell the other players this, and then what we try to do is discuss who could have which possible whim card. If the players can correctly identify the whim card of one of the other players, the gardeners get to move up along the track, and then the queen moves up behind them. However, if the players incorrectly guess a whim card, the queen moves double her speed. Now, this becomes a little bit more threatening as players move farther and farther up, because whenever they reach the rabbit, the queen's speed increases. So at the beginning of the game, she's moving 1 space per turn, and then after passing the rabbit, the queen starts moving 2 spaces per turn, and then 3 and 4. So the queen gets closer and closer as the game goes on, and if you get an incorrect guess, the queen doubles her speed. Players win if they can paint all the roses without the queen catching up with them, and then their score is tracked inside the logbook. So let's talk about the attributes of the game. For theme, this is a game with fantastic artwork, and the idea of trying to flee from the queen as she's chasing you with an axe is really clever and very cute the way that it's implemented in the game. However, this is not a game that's going to make you feel like you're actually in Wonderland and doing the kinds of things that Alice did. This is more of a puzzle game. So while the theme is definitely present, it's not a highly thematic game. I would give it a 4. For mechanics, though, the game is phenomenally elegant. Anybody is going to agree when they play this game that this is a clever game with just a brilliant mechanic. It's fantastic how something so simple, a puzzle that's so simple, can be implemented in a game form. So this is a brilliant mechanical game. I'd give it a 10. The components for this game are also very well done. And one of the things that I really appreciate is that the components that you're given are enough to play the game, and it's gorgeous, but there's no excess here. There's nothing in this game that is being thrown in there just to kind of impress. Every piece that comes with the game is essential for gameplay, and every piece is very well done, including the artwork. A 10 for components. For strategy, this is a game that's going to scale with the players. You've got easy, medium, and hard cards, and those definitely have an impact on gameplay. And there's also different degrees to which you can read into the hints that are being provided by your other players. For example, there's information that's provided when a player places a tile on the board, but there's also information provided when you consider the tiles that they did not place on the board. You can say, okay, well, it can't be this, because if it was, this player would have chosen that one instead, which would have provided more information. So maybe there's a reason why they chose this tile and not that tile. I mean, and that's really what made it fun and rewarding. So for strategy, it's a little hard to just give it one score. It can be kind of simple and it can be very strategic. I'm going to give it, I will try to give it about somewhere in the middle, a 6. And as far as complexity is concerned, while there are a lot of factors to consider while you're trying to deduce who has which whim card, the rules are very simple. This game takes less than 5 minutes to explain when you're sitting down with a group of people. It is an excellent game for a group that is a little intimidated by rules, a lot of rules. So I would give this complexity a 3. Now, while there is some luck, because what you can play depends on what's drawn from the bag, you can always get valuable information with whatever tiles are available. So with luck, it's very low, and with player interaction, this is one where you're going to be constantly talking with the other players around the table, so very high player interaction. My final thoughts on the game. There's really 2 things I can talk about. One is the brilliance of the game, how much you can appreciate how well done the game is, and the other is just the gameplay. There's actually a difference between the two. You really have to know yourself and what you like before you buy this. Let me tell you why. Anybody who plays this game can admire how smart the game is. And it is a lot of fun to solve the puzzles. There were times when I was playing this with my game group where we erupted in cheers because there were 2 possible answers for the whim card, and then one person at the last minute said, wait, it has to be this and not that because blah, blah, and they explained their reasoning and said, that's it, final answer. Is this your whim card? And we got it right, and we all cheered, and it was very, very exciting. But, I mean, keep in mind, this is a group of game hobbyists who enjoy a puzzle. And we allowed ourselves to be drawn in by the challenge, right? So I really liked that, and I appreciated it. If you can get into that too, I think you're really going to love this game. And by the way, I've played with my kids as well. I make one modification to the rules, which is in the rules officially, only one player is allowed to have an easy card at a time. When I'm playing with my kids, I allow both my kids to have easy cards if they want to, and that just makes the game a little less threatening. The queen's a little less intimidating. Excellent mental puzzle-y game. Now, if we talk about the gameplay, here's my criticism of the game. There is not a lot of variation. You are doing the same thing over and over, round after round after round. And the game can feel a little bit long because of that. In other cooperative games, sometimes you have events that kind of add a plot twist to the game. And, you don't see something coming, it can really change. In this game, you're just drawing these whim cards and trying to guess over and over and over again. The only variation is that the queen gets faster the more that you play. And so you really start to feel her breathing down your neck towards the end of the game, and that's very intense. In the beginning, it feels like there's a big space between you and the queen, and it's important that you get ahead because she will eventually catch up with you. But it's not as threatening of a situation as some other cooperative games. I mean, even if you look at Pandemic or something where you have these, you're about to be overtaken, and that can really intensify the gameplay. This gameplay is more of a plateau. And because of that, it's probably not a game I'm going to play as frequently, but it is definitely a game I'm going to take out after I've played something else. I can play something that has a lot of rules and really enjoy it, and then, after that's done, say, hey, let's take out something simple, let's take out something kind of short and sweet. And we might play this one. So, brilliant gameplay, a little, maybe too repetitive, but if you like a challenging puzzle, I think you're really going to love this. The game, Paint the Roses. Thank you so much for watching this review. Don't forget to check out The Perfect Board Game, where you can watch this and other videos and check out the reviews of all of the games that I talk about. Lastly, if you're interested in this fantastic board game t-shirt, which I also hand drew, you can find that there on theperfectboardgame.com. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.